Okay guys, so this is something a little bit different, and do you know what? There's probably some of you who are going to love this, and there's probably some of you who are going to absolutely hate it. But quite honestly, I don't even care, to be quite honest. This is something I wanted to do to kind of give you guys an insight into my creative process and how much work and effort goes into films. And do you know what? This isn't even a film. This is an opening scene, and this took a good 12 hours shooting. Not 12 hours straight, obviously, but around 12 hours altogether. This was quite a serious project. It was only just like a small kind of assessment, but we wanted to really make a big deal out of it and do something fun and adventurous and a bit kind of ambitious as well. So, for those of you who don't know, I'm at university studying film, and basically we got an assessment to recreate a 90-second scene from any film. So any film on the face of the earth we could recreate 90 seconds from. Now you guys are probably thinking, that's well easy, so easy to do that. But we had to make sure that set, props, costume, acting, lighting, everything was the same. And believe me, that is not easy. We even had to make sure the pacing of the shots were the same, the angle of the shots, the distance of the shot. Honestly, it was a nightmare. So we thought, you know what? If we're going to do this, we might as well make it fun. So we chose this scene, which is not the easiest. And basically, I'm just going to go through it and kind of give you guys an insight into what we did to create certain effects. So obviously, just for the standard titles, we got the Kill Bill font and the fonts used in the original film. And if we look at this now, here we're using quite low-key lighting. And if you don't know what low-key lighting is, it's basically just pretty dark lighting. That's probably the best. That's probably the best sort of idea I can give you. High key lighting eliminates shadows and it's very white, and low key brings out all the shadows and all the highlights, and it's almost like film noir kind of look. But I'm no lighting professional, so you know I don't really know my stuff about lighting. But I'm gonna just let you in to kind of our process and how we did this. Now, a lot of you guys might be thinking, this looks really crisp. Now, the camera we used was the Canon 550D. Now, if you're into film, photography, whatever, I highly recommend this camera, okay? It comes in at around £500, and actually, the upgrade of the 500D, the 600D, or the 650D is around actually £420 now on Amazon. In fact, I'll link that in the description below, because I know a lot of you guys are into kind of film and photography, and it could really benefit you in a lot of ways. Canon produces great camera quality, as you can see here. And if you haven't seen this video already, I'll link this in the description as well. Now, to get the details in her face, we added post-sharpness. Now, post-sharpness can either look really good, or it can look really not so good. And believe me, I've seen a lot of examples where it is not so good, and that's not great. And the blood as well. The blood, we were really unsure about how we'd do the blood. We were like, how are we going to get this effect? And basically... what we used is, we were thinking, right, it's black and white, and red blood that you get from like fancy dress shops or whatever tends to not really show up. Now, I'll freeze it there because you get a good kind of shot of the entire face. Now, so what we actually used is, on her nose, in her nose, we're using liquid eyeliner, and we used that on her nose shaft as well to make it look like there was cuts. And it came out really well, actually. We were like, that's not too bad. On other parts of the face, we used Nutella, which is... It actually came out really well, and on all other parts of the face as well, there is actually just liquid blood. And I think the reason it came out so well is because underneath it we had like a liquid eyeliner layer, and the liquid eyeliner created this really nice kind of dried-on blood effect, which looks really good, as you can see on the lips and on the nose. I'm just going to fast forward it. Keep the blood dripping. Now, this whole sequence was all done in like. I think this consisted of 2 takes, and I'll show you the issues with it and continuity and stuff like that. And it's all part of the process, so you guys can see, what goes into it. The blood was not easy. We took this shot about 5 times, so that meant taking it off, reapplying it, taking it off, reapplying it. Because if you've seen the film, you know that Bill wipes the blood off her face. So when it went wrong, we'd have to reapply it and do it again and again. And believe me, it was not easy. Now, what we used for the veil in the background behind her. We basically just went to a shop in Camden, and there was this kind of Indian shop that sold all this kind of like Indian style gowns and materials, and we basically just bought this. It was like $1.99, so pretty easy. Now in the background underneath the veil, you can see this kind of black line. Now in the actual film, there's a black line in between the floorboards because they're real wood. Now, I don't have real wood on my floor, and we thought this looked pretty good. And basically, all it is a shoelace taped down onto the floor. And literally, I suggested this idea. I was like, "What about a shoelace to make the black line?" Because basically, we were trying to get as much attention to detail as possible. And for us, attention to detail is a key thing because it shows that you've really analysed the scene, and of course, you've tried to recreate it as best as you could. So we used this shoelace, and it actually came out all right, and I don't think anyone suspected it was a shoelace. Also, as well, you can see in the shot that her face is quite wet, well, wet looking, and it's also just water. We just put that on her face, and underneath her eyes, and on her cheeks, and on her shoulders, we put vapor rub. Now, the vapor rub under her eyes made her eyes water and made her eyes look really glazed over, in a kind like she'd been beaten up or hit, and we thought that came out really well. You can see Bill's handkerchief there. That's literally just a tissue with Bill written on. That came out quite well. In fact, you can actually see the kind of rip mark from the tissue on the side there on the paused shot. The bracelet he's wearing, I've got right next to me now, was $1.99 from Camden. Another bargain we found amongst all the tat that you get there, and we just wanted, as I said, to make it as detailed as possible. Now, Alex, who played Bill, had to literally learn as best he could every single hand motion on the shot, which, believe me, is not easy at all. Now, I mean, you can look at the shot and you can look and say, you know, the detail on the blood looks really good, blah, blah, blah. But the makeup was not easy, I can assure you, just due to the amount of times I had to re-put it on. And you can see as well on this shot, she's got Nutella on her teeth. Now, not many people probably noticed, but in the previous shot, she didn't have any on her teeth. But that's just a continuity thing. We decided to put it in the second take, and no one really noticed. As for the eyes, you can tell they look like they've been punched or beaten. Because it's black and white, we managed to get away with just using like a brown eyeshadow and really layering it up so it looked like she'd been punched, which I think came out really well. As for everything else, as you can see in this shot, that came out really nicely as well. As for her hair, to keep it looking kind of wet, we literally just put water in, that was it. We had to keep reapplying it every time we did new shoots to make sure the hair still looked quite wet, and the hair across her face, etc. For her top, obviously she's not wearing a bride's dress or whatever, she's just wearing a top, just pulled over her shoulders, and there's a lot you can do with camera trickery as long as you're not showing major things. So in terms of like props, it makes things a lot cheaper. Now, the light we used, there was a light to the to her left, which is the right of the screen, and it was basically a small LED light that they're around £40 on Amazon. You can get them for about £28-30, and in fact, you know what, I actually 100% advise people to go out and buy these, because we have lighting at uni, and honestly, the lecturers say, you know, if you break the bulbs, it's like £300, but this lighting works just as well, honestly, and you can pick up like 3 lights and do a 3-point lighting setup, and you're doing it for like £90, and that is so cheap, and the lights are great. They run off batteries, which obviously, you know, can be a bit of a pain in the ass, but at the same time, you know, you can buy rechargeables for it to put in the back as well, which is really great. So that kind of makes it a little bit better. As for the veil, you can probably see continuity with the veil shape between this shot and this shot. It's considerably different, but no one seemed to notice, so that was fine. Also, this tracking shot here, when I get there, this tracking shot here, which I'll just play through, this took 6 hours to film, and I'm not even joking. And I'll freeze on probably, I'll just go back here. We spent 6 hours trying to figure out how to do this tracking shot, this nice, smooth tracking shot across the ground. And what we used for bullets in the background, we just used batteries. We just put them on the ground and made sure, obviously, the lens was making them out of focus. The shoes were just simply just a pair of shoes. We couldn't get cowboy boots, unfortunately, but they still came out pretty cool. Now, the track is really smooth, and basically, I reviewed an Optica camera slider ages ago, and the bottom has kind of like rubbery bottoms to stop it from kind of slipping around. But if you pull it, it slips really nicely and really smoothly. As for the lighting, Harry, one of the crew members, basically just followed his feet with a light right behind, and it came out really nicely with the shadows. It came out really nice, and if you've seen the original, you'll see it's fairly similar. Obviously, the angle and the track isn't exactly the same, but it came out really nicely. Now, as for the voice, we did that in post, which was a bit of trouble, to be quite honest, because we had to sync it up with her kind of reactions, which wasn't the easiest. And I'll just play this bit through here, where she gets shot in the head. this came out really nicely, and this was all post. This was all post blood. We didn't do this on shot. This is all done in post, and we think that came out really well. I'll see if I can pause there quick enough when it comes out. Oh, just missed it. Damn. Okay, right. See if we can get it this time. We probably won't be able to. Okay, there. That blood looked really good, and you know, you can actually kind of see the shoelace. The way we had the lighting actually makes it look embossed into the ground, like it is actually a floorboard, which came out really well. And the blood as well came out great with the lighting. It actually, the light, it's from Video Copilot's Action Essentials. The light on the blood is actually coming from the same way that the light's coming from in the shot, which really worked. So that came out really well. And as for everything else, that it just really came along nicely. We just sat the camera on a tripod, did it all, and it came out really well. So if you're interested in buying one of the lights, I'll link the Amazon link in the description. They're dead easy to pick up. They're cheap. They come really quick as well. My friend ordered 2 yesterday, and they came next day. He ordered some light stands as well, which came really quick. He also ordered a monitor, and that came really quick as well. Although that's not actually... I don't even know why I just said that, because that's not even come yet. I'm an idiot. But yeah, literally, there's some great things, some great bargains that can really help with filmmaking. And this Kill Bill scene, if you've not watched it, as I said, I'll link it in the description below, really took a lot of time and a lot of planning. That's one thing about film, it takes a lot of time. Now, I had a few people saying, oh, how'd you get your Canon quality like this? The key is good lighting. And also the little bit of sharpness to add in post. But apart from that, key is lighting. Without lighting, you are not going to get a good shot. That's what makes films look so amateur, and that's what makes films look so just bleak and bland and noisy and horrible. It's the lighting. The lighting is one of the most essential parts of filmmaking, and if you don't get it right, you're fucked, basically. So, anyway, thanks for watching. I hope this has been a useful insight into my creative process with this whole scene. I think it's been really nice talking about it, actually. You know, I'd like to do this more often, but I'm sure this video probably won't do that well. But if you have liked it, please be sure to give a like. The new YouTube layout has basically screwed over YouTube content creators, so you know, usually I'd get like 1,000 or 2,000 views a video. Now I'm getting like, I don't know, 500, which is pathetic. So if you like the video, please share it, like it, favorite it, do whatever. Spread it around, that would be really cool. If you're interested in buying an LED video light, please check that in the description below. As I said before, I 100% recommend these, even for photography, like a constant flash, and for studio lighting and studio setups, and for film. So yeah, they'll be in the description below as well. The camera will be too. Maybe you can add it to your Christmas wish list. And thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in another video. That's the loudest siren ever. I live near a police station. Bye bye.